Hi everybody, welcome to another edition of Art Regner's video blog. I have to first issue an apology. I've been on a commission the last couple of days. I had a colonoscopy, or however you say it, on Wednesday of this week, and as I said, it took me out of commission. I just want to say everything's fine. I do have something called diverticulosis, but I don't have cancer or polyps or anything like that. And I just want to say that if you're due for one of these, or your doctor has talked about it and you've been putting it off, don't. It's a bit of an inconvenience, I'll say that, but in the long run it really kind of eases your mind. And so I recommend everybody get it. Please do. I had a brother-in-law who died of colon cancer. The last 4 or 5 years of his life, I was his primary kind of caregiver, taking him to and from the hospital, chemo treatments and things like that. And he fought it bravely. He finally succumbed to the disease. But certainly I was familiar with colonoscopies before I had it, and I know I keep mispronouncing it, but I really want to stress, in all seriousness, that please get it done. And with that said, I'm glad I did it. I do have relief, and please, just do it, and have peace of mind. With that said, let's talk about the Detroit Tigers and this 10-game road trip that starts tonight against the Anaheim Angels of Los Angeles, or the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, or the Angels. As I've been saying over and over and over again, I think that the Tigers are going to do well against the Angels, White Sox, and Athletics, the 3 teams remaining on their schedule that are over 500 and have something to play for. My biggest worry is how Detroit performs against Cleveland, Minnesota, and Kansas City, and the Twins and the Royals are whom they play exclusively for almost the last 2 weeks of the season. I think that's where the division is going to be won and lost. The American League Central, whomever is the champion, will be the only playoff qualifier. I don't think the Tigers or the White Sox are going to be a wild card participant, so the Tigers have to win their division. I do not believe that this 10-game series, this road game series that begins in California, then goes to Illinois against the White Sox, and finishes up in Cleveland against the Indians, is something that is going to make or break the Tigers, unless they're 0-10 or something. I think they're going to do fine. I think they're going to be well, primarily because of their starting pitching. I think Detroit's starting pitching has really come around. I believe in Max Scherzer now. I really think he's going to have a great start tonight against the Angels, and I think he's going to finish out the season strong. Justin Verlander, I think he's almost challenged himself with all those indecisions that he had there, and I think that it's kind of revived him. He's revved up. He's going to go. Rick Porcello and Anibal Sanchez have pitched very, very well. They just haven't gotten any run support. And Doug Fister, even though he hasn't gotten a whole lot of run support, he just seems to get the job done and wins ball games for the Tigers. I know he slipped up a little bit, but overall, Fist has been playing very, very well. I think the bullpen is a little shaky at times, but I do believe with Dotel, Benoit, and Papa Grande Valverde that they just have enough left where I don't think they're really going to hurt the Tigers. The main thing for the Tigers and how they're going to win this division is still the guys in the bottom of the lineup. I know Delmon Young's hitting, and that whole thing with Delmon Young not playing the other night or not wanting to be in the lineup, that is just a weird thing between him and Jim Leyland. I don't get it. Leyland's been defensive. He's trying to defend himself. But if we've learned anything about Delmon Young, I think since he's been here in Detroit, he is just one odd cat. So I don't know if you have to treat him with kid gloves or whatever, but Delmon Young has to continue to stay hot. He has to continue to, I guess, be happy. Whatever makes him tick, I think Jim Leyland has to make sure that he's pressing the right buttons for Delmon Young. Now, guys like Brendan Bosch, Alex Avila, Johnny Peralta, even cue ball, even Quentin Berry, they have to start playing better. I think that is going to be the key for the Tigers, not only in this 10-game road trip, but throughout the rest of the season. It's feast or famine. They're not getting enough run support, and I think that's where the trouble lies. Now, California is going to be tough. The Angels are going to be tough because they're not going to win their division, but they're in the thick of the playoff hunt as far as the wild card goes. Oakland is the same way. I don't think they're going to catch the Texas Rangers. So, conceivably you could have 2 wild card teams come out of the American League West, and the Tigers play those 2 teams that are fighting for those wild card berths in the A's and in the Angels. So that might be tough, but Detroit seems to rise to the occasion. So what I think really needs to happen, again, and we've talked about it, is the bottom of the Tigers lineup really has to come through and start hitting on a consistent basis. We've talked about consistency. I think the consistency is there with their starting pitching. I do. I think their bullpen is just consistent enough. Where it really is going to matter is in that everyday lineup. And, you know, Jim Leyland's bizarre substitution patterns and when he rests guys and when he's not, I would hope at this point, and I know guys need a blow once in a while, I understand that. But at this point, you've got to play hunches, who's ever hot. Your best players have to be your best players down the stretch here, so maybe he won't tinker with the lineup too much and just go with guys who are actually performing, because the Tigers' everyday lineup has to hit more consistently and has to hit better. If they don't, then the Tigers are going to be in trouble. I have a funny feeling, and I've been saying it all along, and I hope I'm wrong, but I think those games against Kansas City and Minnesota at the end of the season are where the division is going to be won or lost, and I think it's going to be lost there. I just don't see the consistency from the Tigers' everyday lineup to put them over the top. Even though their pitching is going to keep them in every game, I just don't think in the end their offense is going to score enough runs. And the pitchers might be a little upset at the end of the season, but that's how it goes. A big 10-game road trip coming up. They don't get a day off. I understand they're crossing the country and all that. I think it's crucial and it's important. They can't go 0-10, but I think the Tigers will be fine, even though they haven't been juggernauts on the road. I think this trip is important, but I don't think it will make or break the Tigers. That will happen in games against Kansas City and Minnesota at the end of the season. And I hope I'm wrong. I just don't see it happening. I just don't see the consistency from the everyday lineup. But, you know, I've been wrong before, believe it or not. So with all that said, get your colonoscopies if you need one, and hopefully the Tigers will somehow pull it out, but their everyday lineup really has to get it going. Until we meet again, have a safe and pleasant one, everyone. I'll see you. Bye-bye.